spotlight cut through the hushed anticipation of the talent show auditorium, settling on a young figure standing nervously center stage. She clutched the microphone stand a little too tightly, her small frame seeming even more fragile under the intense glare. A hush fell over the crowd. A sea of expectant faces turned towards her. But this performance felt different. There was a palpable undercurrent of something more than just polite curiosity. Perhaps it was the way she moved, a subtle but undeniable struggle with a physical disability. Or maybe it was the sheer vulnerability etched on her face, a mixture of hope and a deep-seated fear. As the first hesitant notes began to drift from her lips, no one could have predicted the emotional tidal wave that was about to engulf the rooms. And certainly, no one could have foreseen the reaction of one particular member of the audience, a figure so iconic, so revered, that their simple act of standing would send ripples of astonishment and inspiration through the entire world. Her name was Lily. From the moment she was born, life had presented her with challenges that most could scarcely imagine. A condition that affected her legs made walking difficult, often requiring the aid of crutches. Simple, everyday tasks that others took for granted were significant hurdles for Lily. Yet, despite the physical limitations, a vibrant spirit burned brightly within her, fueled by an unwavering passion: music. From a young age, Lily found solace and expression in melodies. Her small hands would often hover over the dusty keys of an old piano in the corner of their living room, coaxing out simple tunes. Her voice, though untrained, held a raw, untamed beauty, capable of conveying emotions that words alone could not capture. It was her sanctuary, her way of transcending the limitations her body imposed. When the local community center announced its annual talent show, a spark ignited within Lily. It was a daunting prospect, stepping onto a public stage, exposing her vulnerability to a crowd of strangers. But the desire to share her music, the yearning to let her voice be heard, ultimately outweighed her fears. She spent weeks carefully selecting her song, practicing tirelessly, her voice growing stronger and more confident with each passing day. Her grandmother, her constant champion and unwavering support, would sit by her side, offering encouragement and gentle guidance. The night of the talent show arrived, buzzing with excitement and nervous energy. Backstage, Lily could hear the muffled sounds of the previous acts: a tap-dancing troupe, a young magician, a comedian telling slightly awkward jokes. Each sound amplified her own anxiety. When her name was finally called, a wave of dizziness washed over her. With the help of her crutches, she slowly made her way to the center of the stage, the bright lights momentarily blinding her. Taking a deep breath, Lily closed her eyes for a fleeting moment, picturing her grandmother's encouraging smile. Then, the opening chords of her chosen song, a soulful ballad about overcoming adversity, began to play. Her voice, initially a little shaky, soon gained strength and clarity, filling the auditorium with its rich, emotive quality. She sang with a passion that belied her young age, pouring her heart and soul into every note. The lyrics resonated deeply, speaking of resilience, hope, and the unwavering power of the human spirit. As the song progressed, a hush fell over the audience. All eyes were fixed on the small figure on stage, captivated by the raw honesty and breathtaking beauty of her voice. In the dimness of the auditorium, seated amongst the captivated onlookers, was a figure instantly recognizable to millions around the globe: the legendary musician Ethan Cole, a name synonymous with chart-topping hits, sold-out stadiums, and a career spanning decades. Ethan had returned to his small hometown for a brief respite, hoping to escape the relentless glare of fame. He had come to the talent show on a whim, looking for a quiet evening of local entertainment. Initially, he had listened with polite interest, his mind still partly occupied by the demands of his hectic life. But as Lily's voice soared through the auditorium, something shifted within him. The vulnerability in her tone, the palpable emotion in her delivery, struck a chord deep within his soul. He found himself forgetting the bright lights, the crowded room, everything except the pure, unadulterated talent radiating from the young girl on stage. As Lily reached the emotional crescendo of the song, her voice filled with a heart-wrenching power, Ethan Cole felt an overwhelming urge to stand. It wasn't a conscious decision, but a visceral reaction to the sheer beauty and emotional impact of her performance. Slowly, deliberately, he rose to his feet. A ripple of surprise and confusion spread through the audience. Murmurs began to ripple through the rows of seats. Why was he standing? Had something happened? But as Ethan Cole's tall figure stood silhouetted against the dimmed lights, his eyes fixed intently on Lily, the murmurs began to die down, replaced by an awed silence. Lily, lost in her performance, hadn't yet noticed the shift in the atmosphere. But as the final note faded and the auditorium remained unusually quiet, she slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze swept across the sea of faces, and then she saw him, Ethan Cole, standing. His eyes, which she could see even from the distance, held an expression of profound admiration. A wave of disbelief washed over Lily. Her breath caught in her throat. This couldn't be real. This was the man whose songs had inspired her for years, whose voice had been the soundtrack to her dreams, and he was standing for her. Then, slowly, deliberately, Ethan Cole began to applaud. His hands met with a resounding clap that echoed through the silent hall. And as if a dam had broken, the rest of the audience erupted in thunderous applause, a standing ovation that seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. Tears streamed down Lily's face, tears of joy, of disbelief, of pure, unadulterated validation. Ethan Cole continued to applaud, his gaze never leaving hers, a small genuine smile gracing his lips. It was a moment frozen in time, a testament to the power of music, to transcend all barriers, to touch even the most seasoned and celebrated of hearts. Later that evening, Ethan Cole made his way backstage, a throng of excited onlookers parting to make way for him. He found Lily, still slightly dazed, surrounded by her beaming grandmother and a flurry of well-wishers. He knelt down, his eyes meeting hers. "Lily," he said, his voice warm and sincere. "Your voice? It's extraordinary, truly extraordinary. You have a gift, a very special gift, and you must never stop sharing it with the world." He then did something that sent shockwaves through the local community, and soon after, the entire world. He offered Lily a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to perform with him on stage at his upcoming charity concert, a global event that would be broadcast to millions. Lily's eyes widened in disbelief. Her grandmother gasped. It was a dream she hadn't even dared to whisper. Ethan Cole spent the next few weeks mentoring Lily, offering her guidance and support. He saw in her not just talent, but a raw, authentic passion that reminded him of his own early days. The story of the disabled girl who moved a world-famous artist to his feet spread like wildfire, capturing the hearts of people everywhere. The night of the charity concert arrived, a glittering spectacle of music and philanthropy. Backstage, Lily felt a familiar wave of nerves, but this time, it was mixed with an exhilarating sense of anticipation. As she stood in the wings, waiting for her cue, she saw Ethan Cole on stage, introducing her to the massive audience. When she stepped into the spotlight, the roar of the crowd was deafening. But as she began to sing, her voice, now filled with even greater confidence and emotion, soared through the stadium. Beside her stood Ethan Cole, his eyes filled with pride as he harmonized with her, their voices blending together in a powerful duet. In that moment, Lily wasn't just a disabled girl singing at a talent show. She was a force, a beacon of hope, her voice carrying a message of resilience and the transformative power of dreams. And the world-famous artist who had stood up for her that night had not only changed her life, but had also reminded everyone that true talent knows no limitations, and that sometimes the most extraordinary moments begin with a single act of heartfelt recognition. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe. For more powerful real-life stories, turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. See you in the next video.